So to give you guys a better idea of what I'm talking about for the head in terms of the space. Hey guys, just having some more thoughts about this aft cabin. So what we would do is we would have the seat here, over here, our closet here. That closet might come out a little bit more. Walking in a little bit further, there's our berth. Let me move this piece of plywood out of the way so you guys can see a little bit more. So that would be our berth. Up until you reach that piece of plywood that's just sort of clamped in there for now, just to give us some kind of visual indication of what we're talking about. And then as we move into the aft stateroom, we would have a door somewhere in this area and a head with a countertop on the one side, perhaps some storage underneath, borrowing some of the storage from under that area, and the head would be in that back corner. What to do with this opening in this bulkhead? Don't know yet. Further thinking required, but it could be just storage. It could be an additional countertop. There's lots of possibilities there, guys, but I think that's possibly a workable scenario. Is to the more I look at it, the more I think it's a good idea. Hey guys, I've been thinking a little bit more about this plan of putting this wall or bulkhead here, and I think it's a good plan. So what I'm going to do is there's a little bit of an overlap here between the bulkhead, which is on the bottom is roughly about here. The bulkhead on the bottom is roughly about where that line is indicated, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut that off. So we're going to bring that back to the full width of what Corbin originally designed it for. So because there is a bulkhead underneath here that was one of the original bulkheads from the boat. So I'm going to take the jigsaw and cut along this line, leaving a little bit of extra material, and then once that's done I'll go along with the router and trim it all off nice and clean. So I'm just going to begin by cutting it to here. I think eventually I might bring it back all the way along this line and curve it in here, but for the beginning I'm just going to cut it back till almost the bulkhead. So here we go. Maybe we'll do that with the skill saw. So I cut that off roughly now. It's just overhanging this bulkhead here just slightly. I'll bring you guys over to have a look. You can see right now it's just slightly overhanging all the way along. So I'm going to take the router and I'm going to flush that up. Maybe we'll put a couple of screws in that first. But that gives that full width. Now I don't want to cut this back any further because I want to maintain the full width for the berth. So I'm trying to steal every possible inch I can out of this. So I think the next plan is to put a couple of screws in these pieces, then carefully run the router along there to flush everything up. And I think that should work quite nicely. Alright guys, so I trimmed along that with the jigsaw. Now I'm going to take the router, as long as I can stop tripping over this bucket. I'm going to take the router and just trim it along so it's nice and flush with that bulkhead. So seeing as I'm working in kind of an enclosed environment, time for the respirator. Well, I can't see what I'm doing with the respirator on, so that's not going to work very well. Whew, dusty. But there we go. It's all nicely done, except for at the end we'll have to cut that off by some other means. I can't get the rotor in there. So let's just think about that for a few minutes and take a break and let the dust settle. So this is kind of what we ended up with, guys. I ran into an imperfection in plywood, so it kind of dug in, but that's not that big a deal. We can fix that up easily. But all in all, not bad. That gives us an idea of the width that we could put that head in, which is more than ample. So the thinking process continues. As normal, any input you guys have, more than welcome. So here we are in the aft cabin. I've got that cardboard in there to mock up that bulkhead between the proposed head and the proposed berth area for the master cabin. So what do you guys think? Looking for some input, guys. Think it's a good idea? So let's just take a closer look. Here's the bulkhead once again. Maybe I can climb up on top of the berth and give you guys a better idea. Kind of what I'm thinking. Now you can see that's a really rough mock-up. It's nothing too elaborate, just to give something for visual cues. That leaves us with a nice sized berth, and also the possibility of using this for either storage or, I'm thinking, a second head. So to give you guys a better idea of what I'm talking about for the head in terms of the space, especially this area over here that was full of cushions previously. Now you can see I've put a small piece of plywood in just to kind of give you some idea of what I'm talking about with that countertop. So the countertop would be over there with the sink. That area at the end, I'm thinking we could make into some kind of either shelf or a cupboard. So we can store toiletries, etc., in there. Below that area, right here, would actually be storage from the other side for the engine room. So we're not going to put a cabinet below that, I don't believe. We're going to leave that for engine room storage. So the head would go down in the area here where you can see that. So on the other side, we're going to have this taper back a little bit to give us a little bit more room in that head area. And up here, that would be that window. So that's in the cabin top. And we can bring this out maybe a little bit more, maybe go with that rounded theme again. I'm not really sure on that, but I really just wanted to give you guys a better idea of what I'm talking about with that countertop, because I didn't feel that the way I sort of showed it with the cushions there was really give you a good visual of what I'm kind of picturing in my mind. So that's kind of the plan thus far with that. But once again, please feel free to give us your ideas, because you never know. Somebody may have some idea I haven't thought of that would really work well.
So, we'd like to invite you guys to help us. We need to have your questions. We're going to ponder them and see what we can come up with. As our title implies, we're reimagined. What are we going to do next? Galley? Nav station? We have no idea. So we need your help. So drop us a comment below, like, subscribe, and share. Let's make it together.
We had a thought for a video. We'd like to hear from you guys. We'd like to hear what your thoughts. We'd like to hear what your thoughts are.